My name is Wyatt Constantine. I am originally from the United States, from Central Texas. I got a bachelor's degree in 2013 in international relations with a minor in German. After that, I served in the Peace Corps in Ethiopia for about a year and a half. I worked as a teaching fellow in Israel for 1 year. In 2018, I moved to Germany to get a master's degree here at the University of Leipzig in African Studies. And upon completing that in 2020, I started working on the Access Project as a coordinator in the research pillar. And since then, I've also started a PhD project focused on the economics of imperialism and political economy in East Africa. The focus of the Access Project is fundamentally the issue of unemployment and unemployability of African tertiary graduates. And there are a lot of dynamics of this problem that are, as of today, not very well understood. It's very hard to sort of use theory and experience derived from European and American academic work and development and turn that lens automatically onto Africa. There's a lot we don't understand about the dynamics of informal labor in Africa, for example. What graduates are doing, are they able to enter into a labor market? Is there even a labor market that can absorb all of these young graduates, this is a really sort of critical, pressing concern because, the demographic future of humanity in the 21st century is going to come from Africa. So we're talking about, the lives of tens upon tens of millions of young people and how they will earn a living, how they will make money, and what their economic futures will look like is a prescient problem. I think probably the most salient piece of research that we're still working through is, it started during the COVID pandemic, an investigation into practices of informal laborers in our 7 partner countries. We have 7 partner countries throughout the continent in North and Sub-Saharan Africa. And we have worlds and reams of data in Europe and America about our unemployment figures, where people went, what they had to do. But in a lot of cases in Africa, this is kind of like a black box. We know that millions of people were shut out of the labor market. Millions of people were furloughed without any sort of social safety net really to support them or any sort of state infrastructure. And we need this data. We need to understand how people in these informal contexts, without the protection of European-style safety nets, continue to earn a living, and what are the consequences of this happening? We need this information. Like we said, we're not talking about a small number of people here. We're talking about tens of millions of people. I think for people that aren't regularly engaged in these kind of debates, we lack this knowledge at a real fundamental level. Like, what are tens of millions of young Africans doing upon graduating? What are their earnings? What sort of economic activity are they engaged in? Can they engage in economic activity? Is there a labor market as such that can absorb them? So I would say that the informal labor profile project that I just mentioned is a stepping stone in answering these questions, but I would say that at the very least, I think we're opening the door and proceeding on what should be one of many, many steps to understanding probably one of the most complicated and opaque questions of economics in the 21st century, which is this massive demographic change and how they're going to participate in the global economy in the 21st century.